this is video number 5, which is about weekly reflections. I will have on Blackboard on the side tab a weekly reflections tab that you will be able to submit all of your weekly reflections. So there will be 3 different tabs that you'll be able to see: complex book entries, which are specifically for those assignments, formal essays or assignments, which are all about the formal essays or annotated bibliographies, and I'll have a weekly reflections tab, which you will be able to submit all of your reflections. So go to the corresponding tab, depending, and they'll be amply labeled. And so regular reflections will be due. You have one due each Friday. The only exception to this is during Thanksgiving week, which I believe you will have one on Tuesday, because we don't have school that week on Thursday or Friday because of Thanksgiving. But 11 out of the 12 weeks this semester, you will have them due on a Friday by 11:59 p.m. You should be submitting them every week. If you submit all of them at the end of the semester, that defeats the purpose. Okay, the purpose of these reflections is to help you think more critically about what you learned that week, what you want to learn more about, and kind of be conscious of what you did that week in English 102 can help you move forward. So it is really easy to lose track of what you learned throughout a semester. It might be, week 10 and you kind of forgot what you learned. You can also go back to these reflections throughout the semester and kind of look, which can be interesting in what you've learned. But also being online, it can definitely be harder to communicate what you have questions about. So you, as writers and thinkers, should be conscious of what you need help with, what you've learned, or your growth throughout the semester. And I can also see what you need help with. And so because we're online and I'm not going to be seeing everybody physically, when I'm in person, it's a lot easier to ask questions. It's a lot easier to see people's faces, to be able to understand if anybody's confused. I can pause throughout a class period and kind of talk about something if anybody's confused. I also happen to do reflections kind of periodically throughout an in-person semester. But when you're online, I don't have the ability to understand where you're coming from, what you're challenged with. Everybody is different, and so I really want to be able to see everybody individually, what you're struggling with, and maybe address those issues before, at the moment when you're struggling, or if you have a question, I can answer that. So you can also type these reflections out on Blackboard. So you can upload a file, you can write them in the content box, or you can upload an audio file or a video, just like the complex book entries. Either way, you should think about the following questions. So you can ask yourself, what did I learn this week? How can I take what I learned this week and apply those skills to future writing assignments or tasks? And so maybe you learned something that you're going to directly apply to another assignment, or maybe you apply it to another class. Let me know what those are. What are you interested in knowing or learning in the couple coming weeks? Maybe I haven't thought about what you wanted to learn, and I can maybe apply that. What are we not done yet that you wanted to know more about? How have my comments shaped your writing process? So I'm going to be commenting on everybody's reflections, complex book entries. I'll be commenting on every single person's writing assignment throughout the semester individually. So how have that shaped your writing process? What have you learned from my comments? How have they helped you or not helped you? What do you wish you knew more about? And then, of course, what questions do you have? I have Canvas. This is supposed to say Canvas instead, which honestly is easier to use in Blackboard, or anything in general. So what concerns do you have, what questions do you have, whatever that might be. You do not have to answer all of these questions and do not have to answer all of them for each reflection. They are designed to help you brainstorm and think about them. So if you answer another question, you talk about something else, as long as you're reflecting back on that week and what you learned and analyzing that, you're fine. So please don't just simply say, I'm fine, and moving on. That will result in a very low grade. So being specific, don't just say, I want to learn everything and anything. Be specific of what that is. I learned from this assignment. What specifically did you learn? And how did you learn that? So being specific and helping will help you be conscious of what you're learning, and also help me understand what you're learning and where the gaps are there. Your reflection should be at least one double-spaced paragraph long, but can be longer. If you're doing an audio file or a video file, should be a similar amount of length. If you just have one double-spaced paragraph that does say kind of nothing, if you just kind of have a lot of filler sentences, the grade for that reflection isn't going to be as well. And so each of these, there'll be 100 points throughout the 102 points throughout the semester. I didn't have any type of, it didn't work out mathematically to make it 100 points. So if you end up doing all of the reflections throughout the semester and you earn a full 100% grade on all of them, you will end up having the potential of earning 2 points extra credit. Okay, that's where the extra credit is, just because the math didn't even out to 100. 12 divided by 100 divided by 12 did not equal an even number that made sense. And so 8.5 is where I landed. But making sure that you are doing all the reflections every week, turning it in on time, on Friday nights by 11:59 p.m. Again, except for that Thursday night week, and I have that on the schedule. Again, in the past, when I've done online classes, I have assigned instead everybody to comment on 3 of their classmates' Complete book entries, and this also had a lot of purpose and was very interesting. But I thought it would be more helpful for everybody to reflect on their week versus comment on everybody's Complete book entries. And so they will be there for you to think about and look at, but definitely wanting to reflect more. And again, I'll have a weekly reflection tab on Blackboard for you to look at. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a good day.